Okay, we're on the top of Chav Beis Amud Aleph. We're in the middle of the Chanukah sugya in Masechta Shabbos. And we learned the last thing at the bottom of Chav Aleph Amud Beis. The Gemara brought a statement from Rav Kahana, and the Gemara is going to bring here another statement in the name of Rav Kahana. V'amar Rav Kahana, Dorish Rav Nosson bar Minyomi Mishmei Rav Tanchum. Mai d'chsiv. What's the meaning of the pasuk that it says regarding Yosef when they threw him into the pit? V'haboir reik ein boi mayim. That the pit was empty and there was no water there. If it already says that the pit is empty, don't they already know that there's no water there? Ella, the pasuk is telling me, what the pasuk is telling me is that there's no water in there. But there were snakes and scorpions in this pit that they threw Yosef into. That was a statement of Rav Kahana. So simply, there's no connection here to the sugya of Chanukah that we're discussing. The Gemara is just bringing it because it's the same statement from Rav Kahana that he said in the name of Rav Nosson bar Minyomi in the name of Rav Tanchum. But there is a connection to the sugya here, and the Rebbe explained on one occasion that the connection is when it says here Mayim also refers to Torah, as the Gemara says Ein Mayim ela Torah, and therefore what the beis is saying is, or what the statement is saying is, Mayim ein bai in the choshen v'akrabim yesh bai, that if a person learns Torah and Mayim ein bai, he doesn't have the connection to Torah, meaning to the Neis and Torah. If you learn Torah and you're not connected to the Neis and Torah, then the choshen v'akrabim yesh bai, then you'll find snakes and scorpions inside of yourself. When you learn Torah, you have to learn Torah with anova. Like we say every day in davening, v'nafshik ofal ha'koil tiyah, then psach libi b'seidah secha. So over here, the connection to Chanukah is, the whole theme of Chanukah is the gzeira that they made, lashkicham Torah secha la'avira mechuker etzinecha, that Yidden should forget the noisen Torah. So therefore what it's saying over here is, if a person forgets the mayim, the source of mayim, the real Torah, so then the choshen v'akrabim yesh bai. Sagt die Gemara weiter, Amar Rabbe, ner Chanukah mitzvah la'anicha betefach ha'smucha lePesach. The mitzvah is to place the ner Chanukah by the tefach that's close to the doorway. On which side of the doorway? You place it on the right. Like usually where the right is more choshev, and that's where you place the mitzvah. Rav Shmuel medifti Amar, you place it on the left. And the halacha is that we place the menorah on the left. So you're surrounded by mitzvahs, the mezuzah is on the right, and the ner Chanukah is on the left. You're not allowed to count money against the light of the ner Chanukah. When I said this halacha in front of Shmuel, so he said to me, does the candle have any kedusha in it? Why can't you use it to count money? So he disagreed to this idea. The emphasis we had this l'chayra before already, where the Gemara brought the opinion of Rav, Asal l'shtamish lo'ira, and over here the Gemara again is saying that Asal l'hartzis mo is connected ner Chanukah. The Rishonim discussed this inyan. Is it the same idea as what Rav said before? Is it something different? So before it was saying Asal l'shtamish lo'ira b'chlal. Didn't mention any details. Here we're talking specifically about counting money. So one of the shittas in the Rishonim is, the Balamar says, the pshat is, Rav Asi is actually more mekel than Rav. Rav Asi is saying specifically counting money is something that you're not allowed. But other things by the ner Chanukah, maybe that is allowed. Others say fakert, that Rav Asi is coming to be machmir more. Rav Asi is saying even counting money, which is like a little, very small, little temporary use, you're not sitting there and reading to the ner Chanukah on a more prolonged time, still that's also forbidden. So his question was, Rav Yosef asked back, how about the blood that comes out after you shecht a chaya, where there's a mitzvah, or a oif, where there's a mitzvah of kisidam, to cover the blood. And over there also, you have to treat it with respect. It has to be done in a respectful way. Does the dam have any kedusha in it? The Tanya, we learned in a beis, so from this pasuk, you spill the blood when you shecht, and then you have to cover it, which is a mitzvah of kisidam. But mesha shofach yechase, with your hands that you shechted, that's how you should cover the blood. You shouldn't push the dirt over, or the sand or whatever it is to cover the blood with your feet. Why not? So that you shouldn't disrespect the mitzvah. You do the mitzvah, it should be done in a respectful way by taking the sand or whatever it is by hand and covering it, but not with your foot. So what do you see over here? It's nothing to do with kedusha. It's a matter of treating the mitzvah and doing the mitzvah in a respectful way. So hachanami. So Rav Yosef says here as well, shalayu mitzvahs b'zuyas olav. The mitzvahs should not be disrespected. You have a menorah, don't use the menorah to count your money in front of the menorah. The question was asked from Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Are you allowed to use the noise sukkah, the decorations in a sukkah during the 7 days of Sukkos? So he answered him, it was said regarding Ner Chanukah, that you're not allowed to count money to the light of the candles of Chanukah. So over here as well, the decorations, the noise sukkah, which is beautifying the mitzvah, you're also not allowed to use. Rav Yosef. So again, when Rav Yosef heard this, he said, Morid Avram, master of Avram. Says like a Lashon Tmiyah, Rashi says, Tali Tanya, B'deloi Tanya. You're learning out something that we learned befedish in a Braise from something else that we haven't learned in a Braise. Sukkah, Tanya, the halacha about the noise sukkah, about the decorations of the sukkah, that's something we learned clearly in a Braise, as the Gemara is going to quote here. Chanukah, Loi Tanya, the halacha about not counting money by Ner Chanukah, that we never learned in a Braise. So what's the Braisa that it says regarding sukkah? The Tanya we learned in a Braisa, schacha kehilchasa. He put the schach in the sukkah kahalacha. It's a kosher sukkah. The itra bekramim, and then he beautified it with nice curtains. Ubesadinin ametzuyarin, or with nice decorated sheets. The talaba goizim, and he hung up nuts in the menorah, in the sukkah that is. Afarsikin, peaches, shkedim, almonds, rimainim, pomegranates. Uparchile anovim, or clusters of grape. Vatari shel shibalim, or pieces of grain to beautify the sukkah, or yenais, shmanim, vesaltais, wine, oils, or flowers, all of these things that are hung in the sukkah to beautify the sukkah. Aser lehistapik man ad matzi yontiv achron shel chag. You're not allowed to eat or use it until the end of yontiv. It's designated for the sukkah, it's part of the mitzvah, it's beautifying the mitzvah, and you're not allowed to use it until the end of Sukkos. V'im hisna leyen. However, if a person makes a clear condition when yontiv comes in by bein hashmoshes that he doesn't want it to be designated to the sukkah, he's hanging it there as long as it could stay there, but he wants to have the option to be able to eat from it and use it, then then it follows the t'nai that he made. So right here you have a clear brayse that tells us this din, b'negei to noi sukkah, that you're not allowed to use it. So Rav Yosef concludes, going back to what Rav Yosef said before. He brought the source from Kisi Adam. Elam Rav Yosef, avuan de chulu dam. The source of this idea that you're not allowed to be mevaza mitzvahs is something is designated for a mitzvah. You have to treat it with respect. The source of all of this comes from dam, where the Torah says v'shafach v'kisa, that the way you cover the dam is not by pushing the dirt over it with your feet, but you should cover it with your hands. Do it in a respectful manner. There's actually a machlekes rishonim about this. The Bach brings this inyan that the smag holds that you have to cover it with what you shechted, v'shafach v'kisa, like it says in the pasuk takel. If you're shechting with a knife, you should use that knife also to put the covering on the blood as well. That's the shitta of the smag. But the Bach says that no, from most of the Rishonim you see, and you see this from the Rambam clearly as well, the main idea is that you shouldn't cover it with your feet, not to be mevazeh the mitzvah. You can do it any other way, with your hand or any other way, as long as you're not doing it with your feet, to be mevazeh the mitzvah. And that's the chayr of the Pashut Pshat in the Gemara. According to smag, the Gemara over here, this whole idea of busy mitzvahs, bringing the source from here, is just an asmachta, because over here the main idea is v'shafach v'kisa, to actually cover it with what you shechted. But the Pashut Pshat in the Gemara is that this is the source of the idea of busy mitzvahs. Another diak in the Gemara is, it says avuan de kulu dam. The lashon of dam. What's the significance about kisi adam, and why does the Gemara say dam and not kisi adam? So the point that Rebbe once explained about this inyan is that the Ramban al Torah says that the mitzvah of kisi adam is only by a chaya and by a oif, not by behemoths. There's no mitzvah of Kisi Adam. And the Ramban says the reason is because all behemoths are brought on the Mizbeach. The dam belongs on the Mizbeach, and Roiv behemoths you can be makriv on the Mizbeach, and therefore there's no union of Kisi Adam. Chaya and a oif, most oifis, that cannot be brought as a carbon on the Mizbeach, there's an union of Kisi Adam. So the concept of Kisi Adam is, the Pasuk says, Hadamu anefesh. The dam is the chayest, the life of the person. So the dam, the chayest, the best, the energy of a person belongs in the Mizbeach. The dam of a chay and oif that you can't throw on the Mizbeach, that has to be covered. That energy that there is in Divrei Rishos, person has to cover. He shouldn't have too much extra indulgence and energy in things that are outside Kedusha. So what the Gemara is saying over here is Avu and the Kulu Dam. The source of everything is to have the right energy, to have the right dam that belongs in the Mizbeach, that belongs to the Eibishter. If a person has the right dam that belongs to the Eibishter, so then he'll treat the mitzvahs with the proper respect, and he won't chas v'shalom disrespect the mitzvahs. That's the source of this idea, to beautify the mitzvahs. Sagt the Gemara weiter, Itmer, Rav Omar. So a related machlokes. So Rav said, Ein madlikin miner lener. You light the ner Chanukah, you're not allowed to take a match and light from one ner Chanukah and then light another ner Chanukah. Shmuel Omar, and Shmuel says, madlikin, you're allowed. The Gemara will soon explain the reasons, and we'll see. Now the Gemara is going to bring three arguments between Rav and Shmuel, and the reason why it brings all three, two of them are related, the third one is not related, is because, as we'll see, regarding these three, there's a difference in the psak halacha, so it brings all three together. The next machlokes the Gemara brings, Rav Amar ein matirin tzitzis mi beged lebeged. You're not allowed to untie the tzitzis from an older beged to place those tzitzis on a newer beged. It's disrespectful. You're taking a beged, a tzitzis, a mitzvah, and you're untying it to use for a new beged. You're not allowed. Shmuel Amar matirin. You're doing it for the purpose of a new beged, for a new mitzvah. You're allowed. Matirin mi beged lebeged. Rav Amar, a third halacha, ein halacha k'Rabbi Shimon begreide. We don't paskin like Rab Shimon regarding Greda. Regarding this is a person on Shabbos drags a bench, a chair, a bed. The Gemara is going to bring the beis in a moment, and you drag it on the floor outside, and it makes a charitz, it makes an indent in the ground, and this is a teld of the malacha of chayrish. So if it's something that's for sure going to happen, if the bench is heavy enough and it's mamash a psik reisha, that it'll definitely make an indent in the ground, that's for sure aser. Here we're talking about a bench that you drag it on the ground, and it potentially could make a charitz in the ground, and might make, it might not make. So this is the shitta of Rab Shimon, that einoi mechaven is mutter. You're dragging the bench. You're not mechaven to make the indent in the ground. So therefore einoi mechaven is mutter on Shabbos. So Rav said we don't paskin like Rab Shimon. Shmuel argued and said, no, halacha k'Rab Shimon. We do paskin like Rab Shimon, begreida, regarding this halacha of greida, which is the halacha of einoi mechaven. Amar Abaye, so Abaye now said, kol mili demar ovid k'Rav. All matters when it comes to the halachas of Isurim, the klal is we paskin like Rav by all Isurim. Besides labar mahani klas, besides these three arguments that we just mentioned here, the ovid k'Shmuel, that we paskin like Shmuel. Madlikim in ner lener, we paskin like Shmuel that you could light from ner Chanukah from one to another. Umatirin mi beged lebeged, you could untie tzitzis from an old beged and place it on a new beged. V'halacha k'Rab Shimon begreida, and we paskin like Rab Shimon begreida that einoi mechaven is mutter on Shabbos. And the Tanya, here the Gemara brings the beis. Rab Shimon oimer, geirer adam mita kise v'safsel. You can drag on the ground a bed, a chair, a bench, ubelvad sheli skaven lasses chritz. As long as the person does not have the intention to make an indent in the ground, if it happens automatically and it's not heavy that it's for sure going to happen, so then it's allowed to be done on Shabbos because it's einoi mechaven. Now the Gemara comes back to the main machlokes that's negeya to our sugi of Chanukah, the negeya to lighting ner Chanukah, one candle to another candle of ner Chanukah. What's the reason of this machlokes of Rav and Shmuel? So there was one of the Rabbanon that sat in front of Rav Ada Barav, and he sat and he said as follows. Time of the Rav, the reason that Rav said you can't light from one ner to another ner, mishum bizi mitzvah, because it's disrespectful to the mitzvah. You're taking a match and you're putting, which is a davar shel choil, and you're putting it into the ner Chanukah to light from there to another candle. So you're embarrassing the mitzvah. Amalahu, so they said to him, Loi tatzisule, do not listen to him. Time of the Rav, the reason for what Rav said not to light from the Ner Chanukah is a different reason. Mishum the kamakchish mitzvah. It's because it appears, when you light from a Ner Chanukah, when you light from a candle, it appears that you're diminishing the flame of the fire, even though it probably isn't, but it appears that you're diminishing the flame of the mitzvah. And that's why it's not allowed to be done. My beinayu. What's the difference between these two reasons? Whether it's about being disrespectful to the mitzvah, or it appears that you're diminishing the light of the mitzvah. If you're lighting directly one Ner Chanukah to another Ner Chanukah without a match in between. The problem of busy mitzvah is only if you're using a match. Busy mitzvah. If the issue is that you're disrespectful to the mitzvah, it's not disrespectful to take one ner mitzvah to light from another ner mitzvah. The mandama that says that the point is that it appears that you're diminishing the light of the mitzvah, even when you use another ner mitzvah to light directly from the first ner mitzvah, but still you're minimizing that first ner mitzvah, and therefore would also be forbidden. So that's the nafkamina, whether they're arguing only in a case of when you're using a match, or even when you're lighting directly. Sagt the Gemara, Masav Rav Ivya. So Rav Ivya asked a question from the following beis. Sela shal meiser. So you have a sela of meiser sheni. So what was usually done with meiser sheni is you would redeem the meiser sheni on money. So here you have money that was used already to be redeemed, meiser sheni, with this money. So it has a kedusha to it. You have to take it up to Yerushalayim. Ein shekelin kenegdoi dinrei zahav. You cannot place that money of meiser sheni, which you have established exactly that it's good coins and exactly what the weight of those coins are. So you want to place it on a scale, and against it on another scale, you want to place other coins to weigh the coins against the coins of meiser sheni. So you're using the coins of a mitzvah to weigh other coins. So you're not allowed to do that. You can't use the coins of a mitzvah to weigh anything. Din rezov. Now here the beis adds, and even if l'chalel olav meiser sheni acher, those other coins that you're weighing against these coins of meiser sheni, you're planning on using it to be mechalel, to redeem meiser sheni. So l'chayri, you're doing it for the purpose of a mitzvah, but still it's not allowed. So now the Gemara explains the question, what we said before. Now if you're going to say, keep ligi Rav Shmuel, when did Rav and Shmuel argue about lighting one ner Chanukah from another, miner lener? They were only arguing when you light directly one ner from another ner. Aval bekinse, but if you're using a match in between, asa Shmuel, then Shmuel said, Shmuel will agree to Rav that it's forbidden, because then there's a busy mitzvah. Right, so now think about it. This match that you're using in between, it's also for the purpose of a mitzvah. You're using that match in order to light another ner Chanukah. But because that match is not a ner Chanukah itself, because it's a match, so therefore it's a busy mitzvah. And both Rav and Shmuel will agree that it's forbidden. So therefore, it fits with what it says in this beis. What did it say in this beis? You're weighing the money, but you're doing it for the purpose of a mitzvah. You want to use that money for meiser sheni, but because that money is not yet money of meiser sheni, and you're weighing it against the money of meiser sheni, that's a busy mitzvah. Same thing by the ner Chanukah. The match is going to be used for the purpose of a mitzvah, but the match itself is not a mitzvah. That's a busy mitzvah. So then it fits. It makes sense. But so then there's no question here. But if you're going to say that according to Shmuel, he even argues in Rav in a case when you're using a match for the purpose of a mitzvah, and he says that there's no busy mitzvah here because you're doing it for the purpose of a mitzvah, and therefore there's no issue. So so this is a question on Shmuel's opinion. Here you see you're using this money to weigh against money of meiser sheni, even if you're doing it for the purpose of a mitzvah, because you want to eventually use this money as well for Ma'aseh Sheni, you're not allowed. For the Gemara, it's not the same thing. Hamaravi, in this case of Ma'aseh Sheni, it's different. Gzeire, here there's a gzeire, Shema lo yechavim mishkaloisav. Maybe you're going to weigh this money, and it's not going to be the right amount, or whether these coins are not going to be good coins, or it's going to be too much, and you're not going to end up using it for Ma'aseh Sheni. And you're going to leave that money to stay in chulin. So you're not necessarily going to end up using it for a mitzvah. In the case of the match by the Ner Chanukah, you use that match and you light the Ner Chanukah. So Shmuel says there's no busy mitzvah here. This match is being used to light Ner Chanukah. So you can't compare it to this case where the money may not end up being used for Ma'aseh Sheni. Now the Gemara asks another question from the way the menorah was lit in the beis hamikdash. The Gemara brings a brayse. Masav Rav Sheishes. It says in the brayse as follows: Mechutz la paroiches ha'edos yaroich. Outside of the paroiches ha'edos, you prepared the menorah. So what's the eidos? There's a testimony. So the testimony here is as follows: V'chi la'oira hu tzarich. The Eibishter needs us to light the menorah in the beis hamikdash because he needs the light. V'halei kol arbaim shana sheholchu b'nei Yisrael b'midbar. 40 years the Yidden traveled in the Midbar. They traveled to by the Eibishter's light. There was a omud of Eish that was followed. The Yidden followed, and they traveled and they followed it. Ella rather Eidos hi l'boy yolam. The menorah in the beis hamikdash is an Eidos to all the people in the world. Sha'ashchine shoyre b'Yisrael, that the Shchina dwells amongst the Yidden. My Eidus, what is the testimony? How does the menorah show that the Eibishter dwells amongst Yidden? Rav, so Rav said, Zu ner maravi. This refers to the ner maravi, the western ner. Shenoisen bo shemen kemidas chavreisel. They put the same amount of oil in this ner as all of the other neiros of the menorah. But umimena haya madlik, you lit from that ner every evening. Uba haya mesayim, and with this ner they finished cleaning out the menorah. So what this means over here is, let me explain the way Rashi explains this inyan. The menorah was lit bein arbayim in the evening, right? And they placed enough oil into the menorah that it should burn throughout the entire night. All the candles went out in the morning. And then in the morning, there's hatavas haneris. They would prepare and they would clean the neris, as we say every morning in the Abaya Hava Masada. They would clean out the neris in the morning. Besides the ner hamaravi, the ner hamaravi b'derech nes continued burning. So therefore, they didn't clean it out. When did they clean it out? At night. At night it was still burning. So what the Kohen did, the way Rashi explains this is, the Kohen took out the wick with the oil. He was either holding it in his hand somehow, or he placed it into another keli, and it was while it was burning. And then they cleaned out the ner hamaravi, and they prepared a new wick and new oil, and then from this burning candle they relit it. Right, so that's what means ba maschel. That's what they lit first, and ba mesayim means that the cleaning of this ner was the last, because everything else they cleaned in the morning. And this one they cleaned at night, and then they cleaned this, and then they lit the ner hamaravi first, and then from there they lit from the ner hamaravi that they lit first. They lit all the other neiros of the menorah. That was the process. That's the way Rashi explains it. One more detail that I just will add that Rashi says here: which one was the ner hamaravi? So there's different shittas when you get to the menorah, how the position of the menorah was. But Rashi says the Tana of this brayso holds that the menorah was positioned Mizrach Ma'ariv. The whole beis hamikdash is Mizrach Ma'ariv. The entrance of the beis hamikdash is on the Mizrach. The Kodesh HaKadoshim is on the Ma'ariv, and the menorah is also positioned Mizrach Ma'ariv. The neiros are in that position. So the ner hamaravi is walking into the beis hamikdash, the second candle, not the last one that's the closest to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the most Ma'ariv one, but the second one. And the reason is, Rashi says, because ein mavirin al hamitzvahs. It can't be the first, because that's obviously the ner mizrachi. But the next one, that's more Ma'ariv, that's the one that you would light with, because ein mavirin al hamitzvahs. Another thing that Rashi mentions here is this whole thing that the ner hamaravi was a eidus, a shchina shoyre b'Yisrael, was in the time of the first beis hamikdash. But in the time of the second beis hamikdash, this nest didn't happen. So now the Gemara explains what we can learn out from here, what's the relevance to our sugya. So the Gemara, over here in this case with the menorah and the beis hamikdash, kiven the kvi neiros, the neiros were fixed into the menorah. So how did you light from one ner to the next ner? It says, Uba maschel, you would light from the ner maravi all the other neres. There's no other way. You have to use some kind of a match or whatever material you're using to light from the ner maravi to light the other candles. Can light directly. So if so, kashya, this will be a question here in the opinion of Shmuel, bein lamandam mishum busy mitzvah, whether you hold busy mitzvah, that the reason why Rav said you can't light is because of busy mitzvah. There's a busy mitzvah here. You're using a match to light from the ner hamaravi to another ner from the menorah. Or whether the reason is that it appears that you're diminishing the flame of the menorah, so that's it. Also, it appears that you're diminishing the flame. So how could you light the menorah this way? How could you light the menorah from the ner hamaravi to all the other neres? So Rav Papa said, no, the menorah actually you could light directly from one ner to another ner without having any match in between. The psilais aruchais. There were very long wicks. The wicks were long enough that it reached from one ner to the next ner, and from each ner they lit one ner to the next ner with these long wicks. They must have had some kind of a utensil to hold it and to pick it up to be able to light from one ner to another ner, but it was without a match in between. Frag the Gemara, sof, but at the end, this only answers why there's no busy mitzvah, because you're not using a match in between. But it doesn't answer the mandama that says that it appears that you're diminishing the light, so that's still a problem, even if you light it directly. So the Gemara, kashya, this remains a question. The Gemara doesn't answer this. My havi Allah. What's the psak halacha l'maisa b'negei to this machlokes? So even though the Gemara over here, l'chayra, partially brought a raya, kashya, remained with a question, and the Gemara before brought the psak halacha that Abaye said that we paskin like Shmuel, but still the Gemara doesn't rely on that, and the Gemara wants to know what's the final psak halacha. We have to see something else. When it comes to the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah, there's another detail that we have to look at to know who we're going to paskin like. What we have to see is, mitzvah. What's the main mitzvah of Ner Chanukah? Just the fact that you light the menorah, that is the mitzvah? You're lighting the menorah? Or there's something else, there's something more? Or the mitzvah is not just to light it, but to place it down. When you place it down in the position wherever it's supposed to be, al pesach beis mibachutz, that's the presumi nissa. So therefore it's not the hadlaka, which is the whole mitzvah, that's just the beginning of the mitzvah. But the main mitzvah is actually the hanocha when you place it down, which is the presumi nissa. And the Gemara explains, the ibaya first. So first the Gemara brings the ibaya luhu, because the question was asked, hadlaka is a mitzvah? Oy hanacha is a mitzvah. What is the main mitzvah of Ner Chanukah? Is the hadlaka the main mitzvah, or is the hanacha the main mitzvah? Did I skip something? So let me go back. Okay. If the main mitzvah is the hadlaka, so then you could light ner lener, because that is the main mitzvah. So when you're lighting from one ner to another ner, there's no busy mitzvah. This is the mitzvah. So there's no problem. Via nocha is a mitzvah, but if you're lighting from one ner to another ner, this is not the main mitzvah. The main mitzvah is the hanocha, so then there's a problem. So then, ein madlikin miner lener. So then you can't light from one ner to another ner, because when you're lighting, this is not the main mitzvah. The main mitzvah is only when you place it down. The ibaya lo adloka is a mitzvah, hanocha is a mitzvah. This is the ibaya that was asked regarding Ner Chanukah. Is the mitzvah the hadloka, or is the mitzvah the hanocha? The mitzvah that you place it down, that's the main presumi nissa. And now the Gemara is going to bring a few rayas to this shaila. Toshema. So Rav said as follows. The person is standing and he's holding his Ner Chanukah for the entire duration of the time that the Ner Chanukah is burning. He did not do any mitzvah. So what do you see from here? Hanocha is a mitzvah. That the mitzvah is to place it down. That's when you see it's presumi nissa. And for the Gemara, no. In this case, it's much worse. Hasam, if he's actually holding it in his hands the whole time, if he's holding it, it looks like he just lit the menorah because he needs the light for himself. So over here, it's much worse. For sure, he's not going to be yetz to the mitzvah in this case. So it's not a raya. Another case, Toshama Domarov, Rav said another halacha, Hedlika bifnim. If you lit the Ner Chanukah inside, and then Vaitzia, you carried it out, and then after you lit it, you placed it outside where it's supposed to be, al Pesach beis mibachutz, loy asa klum. You didn't do the mitzvah. So if you're going to say that the hadlok is the mitzvah, so then hadlok b'mkaimai be'inan. The actual hadlok, which is the mitzvah, has to be in the right place, which is al Pesach beis mibachutz. Mishum hachi le'asa klum. So therefore he didn't do the mitzvah because b'shas the hadlok he lights it inside his house on a table on the counter, and he didn't light it in the light. He didn't light it in the right place, so there's no mitzvah. But if you're going to say the mitzvah is the actual placing it down in the right place, why didn't he do anything if he placed it down in the right place outside? B'shas, he places it down, that is the mitzvah. That's the presuming issa. The lighting it before is just the beginning, it's just the hachana of the mitzvah. The placing it down is the main mitzvah. So what's the problem? And for the Gemara over here as well, it's not a raya. Hasam nami haraya hu aimer letzarchod adlaka. You see a person, he's lighting it inside, he's carrying it, he's walking with it. It looks like he lit the menorah for himself, for his own personal needs, so therefore it's not a mitzvah. So therefore from both of these cases, it's not a raya. The Gemara brings a third raya. Toshama, the Omer Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi said, "Ashoshes, a lantern, a glass lantern. Shahaisa de lekes v'haileches kolayim kulay." It was burning all day. So, as Rashi says, this was lit for Ner Chanukah on Erev Shabbos, and now it's Matzah Shabbos, and it's still burning. So what do you do? La Matzah Shabbos, it comes Matzah Shabbos, mechabe, you have to put out the Ner Chanukah, umadlika, and you have to relight it to do the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah for Matzah Shabbos. Fragt the Gemara say, if it's just the lighting of the menorah, which is the mitzvah, shape. Then what it says in this beis makes sense. You put it out, you light it, and that's your mitzvah. There's nothing else. But if you're going to say just lighting it is not the main mitzvah. The main mitzvah is to place it down. And that's the presuming issa. If you're going to say hanocha is a mitzvah, hi mechabe umadliko, why does the beis just say that he has to put out the Ner Chanukah and then relight it? Mechabe, you should put it out, magbiya, and then you have to lift it up, umanicha, and you place it down, umadlika, and then you light it, miboile. That's what it should have said. Because the mitzvah is that you should place it down in the right place. The fact that you placed it down in the right place on Friday or the days before Chanukah is not enough. Every day you have to do a separate pu'ula to do something that today you're being mefaris in the nes. If that's the ikka mitzvah, that you're doing a new pu'ula to make a new presuming issa. So why does it just say madlika? The Gemara says another question, another simple raya to the fact that the mitzvah is the hadlok itself and not the hanoche midekamar v'varchinon. Look at the nusach of the bracha that we say. Asheket shano b'mitzvaysa v'tzivano lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. Or our nusach is lahadlik ner Chanukah. There's two nuschos. So the nusach of the bracha is lahadlik. We don't say lahaniach, that you place it down. Shma mina hadlake oise mitzvah. So we see clearly from both of these rayas that the mitzvah is just lighting the menorah. Shma mina. This is a conclusive raya to this point that the hadlake is the mitzvah and not the placing it down. Okay, so now the Gemara comes back and says, so first the Gemara says, now that we know that the hadlaka is the mitzvah, so hidlika chere sheite v'katan loy asa v'loy klum. A chere sheite v'katan that are not chayiv in the mitzvah, if they lit the menorah, and then you went and placed it down in the right place, you're not yotze the mitzvah. If the hanocha was the mitzvah, so if a chere sheite v'katan lit it, and then you placed it down in the right place, you'd be yotze the mitzvah, because the lighting it is just the beginning, it's just the hachon of the mitzvah, you put it down in the right place. But if the mitzvah is the actual hadlaka, then a chere sheite v'katan can't light the menorah. And this, according to the conclusion of our sugya, this is really the only nafkamina between the two shayfanim, whether hadlaka is a mitzvah or hanocha is a mitzvah, in a case that a chere sheite v'katan lights it. Because if it was lit not in the right place, as the Gemara said before, then it could look like that he was lighting it for himself. So even if you're going to hold that hanocha is a mitzvah, it's still going to be a problem, because looks like L'tzarcho D'adlaka, even if you play. So the only nafkamina really is this case of Cheres Sheita V'Katan, and we paskin that the hadlok is the mitzvah, and therefore a Cheres Sheita V'Katan that lit it will not be a mitzvah. Isha, however, an Isha, a woman, Vadai Madlika, she can definitely light the menorah. The Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Noshim Chayavis ben Ner Chanukah, Sha'af Hein Hoyu Ba'isya Nes. Women are also chayav in the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah because they as well were part of the Nes of Chanukah. And over here there are two Ifanim how to explain this. What means Af Hein Hoyu Ba'isya Nes? Either it simply means that the Gzeira was on the entire Klal Yisrael, including the women. So therefore they're also part of the Nes. When Klal Yisrael was saved, they were part of Klal Yisrael and they were saved as well. Or, in other places, Rashi says that Afei Noi Beis Nes means that the Nes specifically happened through a woman. The famous story with Yehudis that went to Liporni and fed him the milk and gave him wine and killed him, and the Nes of Chanukah happened specifically through a woman more even than the men. Over here Rashi doesn't bring the story, but here Rashi says Val Yidei Isha Nasa Nes. So therefore women are also chayiv in Ner Chanukah. Although b'poil today our minig is that women do not light Ner Chanukah, and there's many reasons that are given for it, and the simplest reason, and I think the Rebbe quotes it in one place also, B'Shem the Chassam Sofer, is that because the original mitzvah of Ner Chanukah was La'anicha al Pesach Beisim Mibachotz, and when you get to Noshim it says Kol Kvuda Bas Melech Pnima, so the custom became that the women don't light Ner Chanukah. That's but be'emes mikra din noshim are also chayiv in Ner Chanukah. That's the conclusion of the shir for today. Hatzlacha Rabbah of everybody. We should only hear good news from here forward, and we should hear the ultimate geula v'yeshua for the entire Klal Yisrael. B'meheira v'yameinu mamash.